Hey guys, welcome back to the Film Fan Club. Sam Carrico here. I just wanted to let you know right at the top that this video will have spoilers in it, so you've been warned. Alright, it's finally time to talk about the culmination of a series of unfortunate events. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about episodes 7 and 8 of the Netflix show called The Miserable Mill. The Miserable Mill is the two-part season finale of a series of unfortunate events, and we got a lot going on in this because it kind of it doesn't really wrap up a lot of the storylines, but it kind of gives us a kind of good sense of closure, at least for season 1. Like I said, there's a lot going on, so for the Baudelaires, we previously had seen them escape Mr. Poe's custody, and now they're on their way to, because they were going to be given over to Captain Sham, but that's no longer happening because they escaped him. They're going to this mill that has to do with their parents' backstory, because they saw the picture in Aunt Josephine's library of them at this mill in this town. Whenever they get there, there's not a very warm welcome because everybody seems to think that their parents had burned down the surrounding town, and the owners of the mill, their partners, I couldn't tell if they were gay or not, I couldn't tell if that was the joke, I think that was the joke, but one of the partners, who's the more authoritarian one, he's a very big asshole, he's a pretty rude dude, and he kind of employs slave labor, child labor, and all about that. Has all of his employees seem to be in a trance, just kind of obediently working for him. They're optimists, and their Baudelaire parents always told their kids not to trust optimists or optometrists, which really proves useful in this episode because we meet Count Olaf's ex-girlfriend, who is an optometrist. She's also a hypnotist. Eventually, Count Olaf kind of takes on his most hilarious disguise yet as the optometrist's female receptionist, and they both kind of have a sinister scheme to hypnotize Klaus and make him cause an accident, and so that way that the kids can get taken out of the mill, put up for adoption, and handed over to the optometrist's secretary, who part of her persona is she's always wanted kids or something like that. Really ridiculous, really hilarious getting to see Neil Patrick Harris do this. I had never seen this. This is the first book that wasn't adapted into the 2004 film, so it was really interesting to see where they were going to go with it. And there's a lot more, it seems like there's a lot more cool, like there's more villains than just Count Olaf and his henchmen in this, so that's interesting. It's a nice change of pace, I think this episode was. It's got a really sad kind of part at the end of part 1 and going into part 2, because we realize that the parents that we've been following this whole time, that have been trying to go across the globe to make it back to their kids, they are going up to this wall that we think is the wall to the mill. Meanwhile, the Baudelaire kids have visitors, so they go to the wall, and then we realize that the parents open up the door, go inside the house. It's not a mill, it's a house, and they meet the kids who aren't the Baudelaires, so they're not, we hadn't even been following the Baudelaire parents. The Baudelaire parents might very well be dead, and these parents, well, these guys, Will Arnett and Kobe Smulders, we later find that their house gets burned down too. I think they were part of the same, they were definitely part of the same society because they had the same eye spyglass. So there's a lot of people getting murdered off by, I don't know who, what the connection is, but there's a lot more going on there. And we do get some resolution with the Kobe Smulders, Will Arnett characters, and the resolution we get is pretty sad, so that was pretty unfortunate. Like Lemony Snicket always says, nothing good is coming out of this. It is just truly a series of unfortunate events. But anyways, the visitors that the Baudelaire had were the optometrist, who I think Count Olaf's ex-girlfriend is being played by Kevin McAllister's mom from Home Alone 1 and 2. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure, though. I didn't look up the cast list before I shot this review, but I probably should have. But I'm pretty sure, just based on looks alone, that might be Kevin McAllister's mom. So yeah. And she takes away Klaus and hypnotizes him and sends him back. Eventually, Violet and Sunny figure out that the entire place has been hypnotized, all into thinking that the Baudelaire started this fire, and that the owner, the authoritarian evil owner of the two partners that run the mill, they'd been he's been taking advantage of the hypnotism, and even goes so far as to let the optometrist hypnotize his partner. And then the optometrist and Count Olaf try to get hypnotized Klaus to kill the hypnotized one of the partners, the hypnotized not authoritarian partner, his weak partner, and he try to get him killed through Klaus, so that way Klaus can cause this horrific accident and then get sent back to live with Count Olaf in character. But luckily, Violet and Sunny are able to figure out the safety words, or whatever not safety words, that's an entirely different thing, but figure out the words that turn off the hypnotism for not only Klaus and then the weak partner, but the entire factory. So there's this kind of workers' revolution that I think needs to happen. Never mind, that's a different story as well. There's this like workers' revolution that they are able to overthrow their evil, their authoritarian boss, and they're able to kind of take their lives back, which is really good to get to see. It's a nice little happy ending and silver lining in all these unfortunate events. And the optometrist dies too, so it was really nice that since we get to have so many villains in this season finale kind of thing, that we get to see some actual comeuppance happen to some of these villains. Because of course Count Olaf gets away, he has to, and then we see that the Baudelaires are being taken by Mr. Poe once again. They've been found and they're taken to boarding school, so that's what's next for them. But we get a little bit of Easter eggs at the end. We figure out that Lemony Snicket and Count Olaf both attended this boarding school, and while Lemony Snicket's kind of narrating the whole thing, we get some more Easter eggs between him and where there is a personal history between him and Count Olaf. And then the world's the daily whatever newspaper that this world has, that Mr. Poe's wife is editor-in-chief of, they had falsely reported that Lemony Snicket's dead, and we had previously seen in other episodes that there's people like cops following him, or at least like mafia-looking people following him. So I'm really interested to see where not only the Baudelaires their storyline takes us in this boarding school, and I think that we saw another pair of kids with another eyeglass thing, so that definitely has some connections there. Not only Lemony Snicket and Count Olaf, but perhaps their parents as well, and the mystery behind that. But I want to see what happens with Lemony Snicket and what's going on in the present with Patrick Warburton's character, because I think Patrick Warburton really does a great job. He's probably one of my favorite performances in this. And then the kids the two older kids, Violet and Klaus, the actors for them do a very good job. But I'm still having some trouble getting into Neil Patrick Harris, and we just finished the first season, so I don't know if that's a really good thing, because whenever he is even just in character, just being, or not in character, in the show, and being in a disguise, but whenever he's just Count Olaf, it still doesn't feel like an old, gross evil man. It just feels like Neil Patrick Harris doing a character. So it is kind of weird, and still I'm hoping that I'm able to get past that as this show progresses in season 2, but I'm definitely going to be coming back. So what do you guys think? Did you like season 1 of A Series of Unfortunate Events? Have I been too hard on Neil Patrick Harris as Count Olaf, or have I been going too easy on him? Do you like Jim Carrey more? Maybe you do. Let me know in the comments section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for checking this video out. If you like it, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content like this. We got more TV recaps, movie reviews, movie news, podcasts, the whole shebang. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, @Samuel D. Carrico. Thanks a lot. You have a good one.